Alright, well, hi guys.
Hello.
Hi guys, Cinema Suitcase here, Logan and Kevin. And today we're going to be doing, in honor of Venom Let There Be Carnage coming out, we're going to do the original first Venom film.
Back in Spider-Man 3, 2004.
Yes, 2007.
2004. No, it's 2007.
Yeah, yeah, but Venom. But yeah, no, very good movie. And our first Marvel movie that we're ever doing.
Kind of. We're getting our feet wet. It's not fully Marvel, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's not MCU, but it is still a Marvel film.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so Venom. Very interesting film to talk about. You want to talk about sort of your backstory about Venom?
No. Is there like credits? Do you want to do that?
Oh yeah.
Stats first.
Let's do stats first.
In the meantime, I'll think of
think about your origin story.
My origin story. It was
All right. So this film was directed by Ruben Fleischer. Fleischer. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I could be wrong. Screenplay written by Jeff Pinkner, Scott Rosenberg, Kelly Marcel, female screenwriter. Shout out. And then obviously there's credits here to Tom McFarlane and David Michelinie, who were the original creators of Venom from the comic books. Because it was at the time.
Oh, they were like consultants.
No, they were writing Spider-Man at the time. David Michelinie was the writer, and Tom McFarlane was the artist. And obviously, Tom McFarlane went on to make Spawn and everything. So yeah, I know. It's a great thing. I actually have. Oh yeah, I should have brought it. I actually have that graphic novel. Like a cheap reprint of the trade where Venom actually shows up. And Tom McFarlane's art. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Like his art was just amazing, and how he drew Venom back in the day, like, was amazing. But yeah, just to get to some more. Right, sorry, damn it, keep pushing the wrong button. Original music by Ludwig Göransson. That's a bit of a difficult name to pronounce. Film editing by Alan Baumgarten and Marianne Brandon, and then cinematography by Matthew Lebetica. It's Libattique.
Your
Libatique, yeah. Yeah, Matthew Libatique. That might be his, I pronounce his name. Sorry.
Wow, that was very complex.
But yeah. So your backstory for Venom?
My backstory, earliest I can remember, I used to see him on like comic book covers and such whenever I saw them. But I think my first real, knowledge of the character's existence was definitely when I was a youngster with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, the black Spider-Man, the suit. And then I was like, okay. And then I always thought that was kind of, I didn't realize he was a separate entity until that film. And then, of course, there was like the PS2 games and all that have Venom cameos. And you kind of get to learn, okay, this is obviously a major player in the Spider-Man verse.
Yeah.
But I think my first or earliest recalled introduction to the character was Spider-Man 3 with that atrocious feature.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Sandman in Spider-Man 3. And
yeah, Sandman. Shout out to Sandman. Shout out to not really Green Goblin. Yeah, no, and I mean we found out now that what's his name again? I can't remember the actor now, but
which character?
The actor who plays Harry Osborn in the original films.
Oh, James Franco.
James Franco, yeah. We found out recently that James Franco's a bit of a creep, but yeah, he got accused. Apparently, he's sexually assaulted. Well, not assaulted, but harassed a bunch of women, and I think he's in jail now. Actually.
Sure. That's news to me. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway.
Blame the goblin syrup.
But yeah, no, definitely shout out to Sandman and yeah, Venom. Okay, so we'll go into my backstory. Obviously, I read comic books growing up as a kid, so obviously I knew who Venom was.
Yeah, back in the 60s, you knew who he was.
Exactly. I used to watch the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s. That was one of my big cartoon watches. The 90s cartoon. When it came to superheroes, cartoons, it was X-Men, Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman, and Justice League. Those were my cartoons. And those just completely blew it out the water. Anyway, then they did the Venom saga. It was awesome. You know, obviously Spider-Man gets the black suit. He has the black suit for a while because it makes him more powerful, but then obviously it alters his personality, makes him more evil. So he rips off the suit, and then we eventually it gets onto Eddie Brock, and then we get Venom. Interesting character. And then like you said, I played a lot of the PS2 games. Remember the Ultimate Spider-Man, where the levels you would swap between Spider-Man and Venom. That was always very cool. The Venom segments are always awesome to play with.
I think he's also in Ultimate Alliance. He's a bit of a tank.
Yeah, I remember he is in Ultimate. I think he is.
I love Ultimate Alliance. I miss those games, mate.
The Ultimate Alliance is epic. I played through. Me and my friend played through the first game. Okay, I played through it like solo back on the day when the PS2 when I was a kid. But the other day, me and my friend, because my friend had it on PS3, because they re-released them on the newer consoles on PS4 and everything. But the problem is because of due to licensing and Activision losing the license to the Marvel properties, the game quickly got removed off the store, so you can't even buy it anymore. My friend still has that remastered or that ported version on his library. And we went through the entire first game in co-op, and it was awesome.
Dude, I love Ultimate Alliance. I miss them so much.
Yeah, there is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, but it's a Switch exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not joking though.
No, I know you're not joking. I'm just hurt. You know how expensive a Switch is?
Yeah.
Well, in general, I imagine.
And your Joy-Cons will break after 2 seconds. And then
apparently there was some a heat around that situation.
Yeah, I don't want to go into it. I mean, I stick to I generally keep a close eye on gaming news, and when I talk about Nintendo or Sony, just
I'll mute you. Don't worry.
Yeah, just mute me because I'll go into an angry rant. But so I played a lot of the PS2 games. Spider-Man 3 came out. Venom disappointed me in that movie. Like, so disappointing. First of all, he was too small. He was way too small. He was basically like the same size as Spider-Man. And I'm like
an agile version.
I'm like, no, Venom needs to be like a big hulking monster type thing.
Yeah.
He needs to be at least twice Spider-Man size. So yeah, he was too small, and then the actor Topher Grace who plays him. I mean, he's a good actor. Like, I've liked him in other movies and stuff. And I mean, I think he's fine as Eddie Brock. I think as Eddie Brock, he's okay.
Yeah, I give you that.
Okay, but as Venom, it's just like, nah. Like that shot where like he says like, ooh, my spider sense are tingling, and then like he grabs MJ's like, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm just like, oh my gosh, just shut up, dude, just die.
Just die.
Just Well, no, I didn't like that version of Venom. And then obviously when they were making the Venom movie, I was excited to see it. I was very excited to go watch it. I just wanted to see Venom, and when they announced that Tom Hardy would be playing Venom, I'm like, okay, that is a good casting choice. It ended up being a good casting choice because Tom Hardy obviously was Bane in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Awesome portrayal, and now he's Venom in this movie. I remember people freaking out that Spider-Man wasn't going to be in it, and then I remember there was a whole controversy that because the classic Venom obviously has that white spider as like the symbol on his chest, but they had to remove it because they were still trying to play ball. They were trying to play ball with Marvel and the MCU, and Marvel's basically just like, no, we don't want this movie associated with Spider-Man, even though that everybody knows it's Spider-Man. But anyway, so yeah, this movie came out. Interesting thing, which I actually want to talk about that when we sort of get into flaws. Obviously in the beginning of this movie, Eddie Brock is a investigator reporter. He's got it's sort of like that show that the Eddie Brock Report, the Eddie Brock Report, where he sort of goes into it, and he's sort of like one of those like reporters who he likes to like dig up a lot of companies, like thing, and he likes to find some dirt and everything, and then he has a hunch that this I already forgot his name, the bad guy's name.
Colton
Drake. The bad guy's up to something. And then he obviously interviews him, and then he starts asking him like some very hard questions. And then Colton Drake obviously immediately kicks him out his lab. And then Colton Drake, because he's rich and connected, he basically is like, okay, screw you, buddy. And then he immediately gets Eddie Brock fired. He gets Eddie Brock's girlfriend Anne fired from a law firm that she works for. And pretty much like. And then, but the thing is, anyway, in the film they have a title card to come up saying 6 months later. But the thing with me was that when I went to watch this movie with my friends, we were late to the cinema. We were like 15 minutes late, so we missed that intro portion completely.
Oh.
So when we got in and sat down and watched the movie, it was already when he was like broken down on his luck and his girlfriend abandoned him and everything. And then I was like watching this, I was going, Jesus, what's been cruel to him? Like, good Lord, poor Eddie Brock. And then when I rewatched, I was like, oh, okay, that's why. That's wild.
That's interesting.
But yeah, so basically, yeah, he accuses Colton Drake of a bunch of things, and then when his editor talks to him about it, he says that he doesn't have any evidence or anything. He just has a hunch that Colton Drake's up to something, and then he says like we don't we substantiate our accusations with evidence and everything. So he gets fired, and then pretty much, poor guy. And then basically we cut to 6 months later. Eddie Brock's down on his luck, and he's like but he's kind of like. That's the interesting thing about Eddie Brock and how I like that they did with him was that he is kind of a loser, he's kind of an idiot, but like at the same time he's got a good heart.
Yeah, he does. He genuinely does.
And like he helps like the hobos, and like there's that one homeless woman that's like there outside the shop owned by the one Chinese lady. I can't remember her name. Forgive me for that.
I think it's Mrs. Chang.
Mrs. Chang, yeah, I think that's her name. Yeah. But anyway, the one homeless woman, and then she took out the papers out of the like little paper box thing, and then she left them there, and then he says like oh, can I have one of those papers? She's like $5, and she goes on about how I got those papers out of the box so I could personally deliver them to you, and she asks for $5, and he gives her a 20 because he's just thinking. And the thing is, interesting thing, that's actually a callback to the comic books, because now for the comic book backstory. Venom and Spider-Man, obviously there was a whole black suit saga, and then Spider-Man and Venom were like ultra arch nemesis and everything, and then eventually Venom and Spider-Man kind of came to this agreement. Obviously this is back in the 90s, so obviously people didn't take this stuff seriously. I mean, now if they did it would be stupid, but people didn't take it seriously back then. But anyway, Peter Parker and Spider-Man and Venom made a deal that, okay, Venom, if you go to another city, they basically swore that they won't fight each other, that they won't get into each other's way if they separate from each other. So Spider-Man stays in New York, and and Eddie Brock goes to San Francisco, and San Francisco becomes Venom's city that he protects. And then interesting thing is that in the comics in San Francisco, there's this underground city. Like an underground, it's weird. There's this underground city where all the homeless people live, and then Venom basically protects the homeless. And he's kind of got this. He's kind of got this thing where he protects the poor, basically,
like a Robin Hood.
Yeah, like a Robin Hood type person, where the homeless are the ones that he especially protects, because he's like, no, these people like need my protection more than just regular everyday people. I mean, there's superheroes for that.
Yeah.
There's superheroes who can deal with that with everyday people. I'm gonna deal with the bottom man, everything like that.
That's
and,
cool.
It's pretty cool.
Usually moral.
So I do like.
Well, Venom is more like an anti-hero.
Yeah, more like
these
an anti.
days. I think he started as a villain, but he's more of a.
Yeah, well, the problem is Venom had the power of popularity. And in comic books, when you have the power of popularity, you get a spin-off and you get turned from a villain into an anti-hero. But yeah, basically, he was more of an anti-hero. So yeah, so watching this movie again, I really did appreciate that, because even though they don't do the whole underground city thing, because obviously that would be dumb for them to do that in a movie. But I mean, the fact that he helps the homeless people, and the fact that the homeless people are the ones that Colton Drake is experimenting on, and Venom's trying to help, Eddie Brock's trying to help them and everything. I thought that was a really nice.
That is actually quite a nice little connection.
That was a nice little connection.
I didn't, as I say, I don't know the comic backstories as well as you do, so that was interesting to learn about.
Yeah, it was a very interesting backstory. So yeah, and yeah, no, pretty much that's pretty much it. Eddie Brock basically, he has the Eddie Brock report. He goes and he accuses Colton Drake without evidence, and then obviously he loses his job, and now he's down on the luck. He's trying to find a new job and everything. And played by Michelle Williams. Shout out. I'll talk a little more about Michelle Williams later, but she basically has already moved on. She's dating some doctor dude.
Yeah, Dr. Dan.
Dr. Dan. And
surgeon.
Yeah, surgeon. And it'd be interesting. You think he'd be like a douche, but he's actually he's actually a nice guy.
He's a chill dude, yeah.
Like a chill dude. Like even when later when Eddie Brock obviously walks past her house, and he obviously sees the cat, and then she shows up because they obviously just came back from a date. And then, she's obviously furious to see him. She's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" and everything. But the surgeon guy's like, "Hey man, how are you?"
What's up, yeah.
And then she's like, "You like his show?" And he's like, "Well, yeah." He took down all those corporate guys. Like, yeah, that's awesome. He's such a nice guy. Yeah, I feel almost bad for the poor dude.
Yeah, shame. Yeah. He lost in the end. He didn't die or anything, but he lost out because Eddie was obviously the hero of the story.
Yeah, But so yeah, then basically, and then eventually he gets approached by one of the scientists. I can't remember her name.
Doris Skirth.
Oh, Doris Skirth. Yeah, that's her name. Yeah, she is one of the scientists working with Colton Drake, because obviously we get a show. Obviously, they do the classic origin of there's a space expedition. These astronauts crash land back on Earth, and they bring all the symbiotes with them. They bring 5 symbiotes.
That's the opening scene, is it not?
Yeah, the openings.
I thought they brought 4.
I think it was 4 or 5.
It was 4, I think.
4.
Yeah, because
I think in the comic books there's 4 main symbiotes from in the Spider-Man comics. I mean, sorry, 5 main symbiotes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it's like Venom, Carnage, Scream, Riot, and then also Anti-Venom. There's Anti-Venom as well. But yeah, basically, so Venom. Yeah, so they get the astronaut crash lands, and then they start experimenting with these things, and they're trying to get full symbiosis. They're trying to merge a symbiote with a human with a host, basically,
so that they can travel into space and survive the harsh elements of cold and no air and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
which is I guess if that's the only information you had, you could see it as a way to sort of advance humankind, but it seemed like a kind of selfish.
Yeah, well, it's Colton Drake, man.
Is he from the comics as well, or is he?
I have no idea. Just generic bad guy. Don't care. Whatever.
I don't know.
I mean the actor Riz Ahmed. He is a very talented actor, and he has done other really good movies. So I'm not knocking him or anything. It's just how they wrote his character. His character is just like, get out of here, man. I don't care about you. And even when he goes on his bad guy speeches, he always goes on about how, oh yeah, the human beings are the problem, and they've doomed the planets and everything, and we need to be the next evolution. And I'm just like, dude, I don't care. Just terrible bad guy speech.
I like his monologues. I'm not gonna lie, but I think as a character, he's kind of underutilized and 2D.
He's underutilized. He's 2D, and he's just an.
Well, yeah, corporate you expect.
Yeah, basically. But anyway, so he's experimenting on homeless people, getting them to sign waivers that they don't understand and everything. And then the one guy goes inside the chamber, then he dies, and then he's just like, next subject. He's just like that. I don't know. I was actually thinking back to our RoboCop episode where, obviously Ed 209 guns down that one executive or whatever. And then when the old man says to Dick, Dick, I'm very disappointed. And he's just like, it's just a glitch. It sort of reminded me of that, but except this time it's a lot less impactful.
Rather, much less.
Much less impactful and much less...
I don't know. I don't like... Is he from the comics?
Again...
did I ask you?
Yeah, you already...
Sorry, I thought you cut me off mid-question. Sorry.
No, it's no problem. But yeah, again, I mean, I haven't read a ton of Venom comic books, so obviously, he could be a character that came somewhere down the line. I just haven't read the exact issue or whatever. But yeah, I've never heard of him. I'll just put it like that. I've never heard of a Colton Drake character.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
And I think, is the Life Foundation a thing? Do you know?
I don't really remember ever hearing about Life Foundation in the comics, but again, I stand to be corrected.
Maybe they made them up for the film. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's what they probably are a corporation or something. I remember, because there are a lot of evil corporations in the Marvel universe, but I don't remember ever hearing anything about a Life Foundation or Life Corporation or whatever.
It's kind of an ironic name.
Yeah, a bit of an ironic name. But yeah, so basically, so anyway, so what's her name again?
Her name?
Yeah. No, the scientist lady.
Oh, Dora Skirth.
Dora Skirth, yeah. She goes after, she seeks out Eddie Brock because he's the only one that's ever stood up to Coltrane.
Yeah,
and actually wants to expose the truth.
Possibly snitch on them, exactly.
Yeah. It's actually quite interesting because, you see him walking obviously to Mrs. Chain's shop, and he keeps looking behind him like somebody's following him. And then at one point he's in the stall, and he's kind of talking to himself, and then the one guy's looking at him like he's weirdo. And then you think, and I'm also going why is he talking to himself? This is weird. And then he goes and I've met a lot of people in my time, and not very good at hiding. And then he looks, and then she's there. I'm like, oh, that actually was pretty smart.
Yeah, initially you think, okay, he's just talking to himself, he has a bad day or whatever, it's fine. But then he keeps talking, and eventually you're like, is he alright? And then he's like, something about I've met a lot of people, and then he's like, you suck at hiding, and she's like,
yeah.
I love that scene. I love Dora as a character.
Yeah, I actually liked her character. I was very sad to see her go away.
She's very nice. One of those symbiotes died actually. That blue one. I don't know what color that was.
I don't think it died. Or maybe it. I don't know.
Did, because it was like that schnot stain on the floor, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, you killed my symbiote or whatever," or you watched it die or something like that. He's
I don't know,
shouting at that scientist.
Because I know they're gonna want to set up more symbiotes for the sequels. Because I'm pretty sure Scream or whatever will get a cameo or something like that.
I didn't even see Carnage in those first.
You don't see Carnage. That's the thing. You don't see his symbiote.
Yeah, no, you don't. I
mean, you see Cletus Cassidy at the end in the post credit, but you don't see actual Carnage.
Carnage himself. Yeah, you don't even see like in his symbiote form, like that jelly.
Yeah, you don't see a red symbiote
there's
or anything.
Yellow one, the blue one that kind of passed away.
There's the white one was obviously Riot,
and then
there's
Venom.
a black one which is Venom.
Yeah, so I was like, where did Carnage come from?
Maybe more of the symbiotes will land on comets or whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah. So basically they did that, and then after he says no to her, that's when he goes and sees Anne, and then obviously she doesn't want to see him. She doesn't want anything to do with him, and then that's when he's kind of like, okay, no, and he calls her up and he says, talk to me and everything, and then they go to the lab. She sneaks him in, and then he's going around taking pictures, and he finds the one homeless lady that obviously he has a relationship with.
That friend from the newspapers.
That he has a friendship with. He tries to break her out, and then she obviously has Venom, the Venom symbiote in her, because they keep putting the symbiotes into these homeless people to see if they would survive or whatever. And then that's how Venom gets onto him. And then, a chase ensues. He jumps up into a tree.
Dude, I hate that scene so much. They were like 10 meters away from him, and then they also...
Yeah, they literally just looked up. They would see him.
Even if he climbed that really quickly, they would have seen him climb that tree.
Yeah, because it's very quick and short, and like the distance is very short. They would have seen him go up that tree.
Seen him start climbing, and I'm just like,
yeah, they should have
go.
They should have done it that like he went around a corner or he went behind a big tree, and then when they come around, he's not there anymore. Like that would have been fine, but how they shot and edited that, it was very wonky, not very good.
Oh, goodness. So, I just remember people fanboying so hard for Venom. They're like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. And granted, it is a lot of fun.
No,
but
for me, it's a guilty. Well, no, I wouldn't say, okay, I'm not gonna say guilty pleasure, but it is a very fun movie for me. I do have fun watching it every time I see it, and I never. It's not one of those movies where I watch it and I'm like, oh, I want 2 hours of my life back. No, it's not one of those types of movies, but it does have a lot of flaws that they need to iron out for the sequel.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I'm curious to see how they handled it in Let There Be Carnage, because I still want to go watch Let There Be Carnage. I mean, when was the last time I was in cinema? I wasn't the last time in the cinema for Godzilla vs. Kong. It was back in March. So now
I was last in cinema back in last year in 2020 in February when I went to watch Birds of Prey. That was the last time I was in the cinema.
So yeah, no, I need to go back to the cinema, but I think I'm gonna watch Venom, and then obviously Far From Home. I want to see what's up there.
Yeah.
And June, if we can go to June.
Yeah.
Dune, then.
Yeah.
We'll go to June.
Definitely. But yeah, so moving on with the story, then obviously Eddie Brock gets Venom now. There's a really gross scene. Yeah, there's a really gross scene when he goes back to his apartment, and obviously, because the problem is Venom requires a lot of food to be able to survive, and obviously because the problem is that like if the symbiote isn't fed properly, it starts to eat the host's organs and stuff. So they need to constantly keep their food balance up, and then he eats that oh god, yeah, that like day old chicken, or that like 5-day-old chicken or whatever. Oh my god, I can't watch that scene. I always have to look away. That scene is so gross.
It really doesn't bother me at all.
I mean, okay, for me, like it's just like, that's me when I see it. But anyway, so going back to the thing, so yeah, basically like he's sort of freaking out, and then eventually they're able to get the scientists to cough up that Eddie Brock was the one who was with her.
Can I ask, while we're on the scene, sorry,
yeah,
why do you think that that homeless lady that Eddie Brock is friends with, why do you think she like attacked him when he broke that
she's got
cell of hers? I know it's the symbiote and he has to get it, but like she's still fully conscious. You know, the symbiote just.
Well,
talks to her.
I think also she's freaking out, man. She's got voices in her head. She's got like some freaking alien inside her body, and like she's like probably the Venom's probably eating her organs in the inside because there's no food, and so she's probably freaking out, man.
Maybe. Okay, I can see how that comes to pass.
That's probably why. But yeah, so basically they find out Eddie Brock was the one who was in the lab, and then they Coltrane, Drake's security guys go to take him.
Oh yeah, Quibus.
Yeah, I want to be Quivus over here.
San Francisco.
And then San Francisco edition, and then they attack him. We get a really cool car chase sequence, and then eventually we get our final Venom reveal.
Dude, that first scene where you see Venom proper, I love how they did that.
And I love his lines.
Yeah,
his lines are so cool. He's like liver, pancreas, liver, kidneys, pancreas. Yeah, it's very cool. All things I could eat. And then later when he's like, at the end with that guy who keeps harassing Mrs. Chain, and then he grabs him and he's like, if you come here hurt anybody, buddy, I'll eat you or whatever. And then everyone will forget about you like a turd in the wind. Yeah, Venom. I love. That's one thing. That's what I say I will love the most. I love Eddie Brock and Venom's dynamic.
Yeah, I want to just bring light to that as well.
Yeah, their dynamic is just amazing.
It's well thought out.
Yeah,
because they have sarcastic banter,
Yeah, they have banter back and forth.
They bicker and they fight, but then
they're like an old married couple.
Yeah, they really are. They gel very well, both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
But coming back to that scene, that epic car chase, that was flippin' cool, dude.
It was a very cool scene.
Like, I'm not sure how they did it. I would like to actually go research that, but the whole sequence is nicely played out in the terms of it's not short, but it's not overly long.
Yeah.
And then they have that whole where Eddie's hit off of his bike and he's kind of wrecked, and they have the car lights on him, and then his like bones fixed with that epic music while Venom stands up. I was like, that is a cool reveal.
Yeah, cool.
I think they put that in the first trailer, and I was like, too soon, guys. Come on.
Too soon, yeah. Well, they had to show Venom in the trailer, but
yeah,
it would have been.
It
would have been nice if they showed hints of Venom.
Yeah,
they show hints of him, but you don't actually see the reveal of him.
Like the beginning of that scene in his apartment where he's fighting those goons, and there's only bits and pieces. Okay.
That's kind of what I like about the trailer for. Okay, I mean it's Jared Leto, and I don't think I'm really excited for that movie. But the trailer they released for Morbius, I quite like that they hide his vampire form. There's that one shot where he sort of turns his head, and you can sort of see his face is all messed up, and he looks like classic Morbius. But that's it. That's the only reveal you get. You don't get much. They kind of hit it very well in that trailer. But yeah. But yeah, no, Venom pretty cool. And then not really. Basically, they fight each other. Then, yeah, just many cool sequences. Then, although I will say about that chase sequence, we did point out that one thing. They're trying to capture him. They're trying to capture the symbiote, but yet all their drones are like suicide bombers. Apparently, just falling and just crashing, and exploding.
All just bombs, and they're trying to kill him. And I'm like, it's really odd, dude. There's so many flaws. There's so many obvious things you just question, and you're like,
yeah.
Trying to think of another example, like Riot taking 7 months.
6 months.
Oh, 6 months. Yeah. Then that's right. The other month is at the end of the movie.
Because for those who want just a brief explanation. Basically, when the shuttle crashes and the symbiotes get onto Earth, right at the beginning, Riot obviously is the leader of the symbiotes. He takes over this paramedic lady, and then later we see a scene of him in Chinatown, and then he kills a bunch of people. Then he takes over the granny's body and everything. He takes over the granny's body, and then in fact, but then it cuts 6 months. I'm like, 6 months? Took you 6 months?
6 months to catch a flight.
Yeah.
Was it lockdown?
Yeah, that was really stupid.
Dude, it really threw me off. I was like, 6 months? He could have, at the speedy moves, he could have swam there quicker than he took the plane there.
Right, so before we were cut off, you were talking about you were having your little Riot rant.
I was having my Riot rant about taking 6 months, because you said the reason he takes so long to get anywhere is because he keeps crashing all these planes.
Because he gets on the plane, he gets annoyed by everybody, then he starts just kills everybody.
Yeah.
The plane crashes.
He's just this little girl sitting in this. Oh no, he's actually that granny. He's still that granny at that point, and then he sits in this this seat, and this really big guy sits next to him, and he's like. Starts spreading over to his chair.
There's some kid behind him that's kicking at his chair.
And eventually he just loses it. and then I said, like, in reality, he probably, because he said he needed cash, so he had to keep siphoning off people. So then
He had to keep doing connect flights.
Yeah, so then I said he had to catch a flight out of, I think they're in Thailand. Oh, right, my bad. I think they're in Thailand. And then he flew to like Vietnam or something. That's as far as his money got him. Then he had to charter a boat, jump on a ship, walk across the desert, all the way just to get there in 6 months. It took him so long.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, jeez. I know the thing is, Wright doesn't strike me as somebody who has a lot of patience. He has a temper, so
really does.
so that's why I said he keeps crashing all the planes.
It would have been more peaceful to just get into like a cargo bay.
Yeah.
You know, where they keep the suitcases and then fly like that. But he was that granny. So.
Yeah, I don't know why it took him 6 months to get to America.
I said he could have swam there faster.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It is unusual.
But yeah, so yeah, continuing from there. Basically we get our Venom fight. There's a bit where obviously, because before Brock got the symbiote, he obviously took pictures on his phone, so they need to get his phone up to his old boss's office so they can, you know, put out the reports and, like, you know, report the news and everything.
I think at that point he's just looking to do the right thing.
Yeah, he's looking to do the right thing.
But I think because of that he gets his job back.
Yeah.
I mean, he turns it down, but I think that offer is what reinstated him.
Yeah, he brings back it. He jumps up. They jump up to the editor's office, and then they put down the thing. And he says, you know, do the right thing, shithead. And like he puts 3 exclamation marks, like underlines it. And then like there's that really funny moment that I remember my friends just bursting out laughing because it was so funny. That moment where he says, where like he's done, he's like, okay, and then Venom's like, now jump. And then he does that look, and then it cuts to him doing the elevator. Venom's like, pussy. Oh, it's so funny. Oh my gosh.
You know, I love their relationship. I think that's the main reason I push through it, because I don't. Riot to me he's kind of just about hate and rage and all this and like world domination. The same with Colton.
And right, he's basically just Venom, except they just made him like grey, whitish, and like he's just bigger, basically.
Yeah, and he's uglier. I appreciate the design for him. I mean, he's got like that cool weapon range. He's got like that.
Yeah, that like freaking like T-1000 turn your arm into like a Swiss Army knife move.
Yeah. When he does that and he kills absolutely no one in the like the flight control, the launch bay.
Didn't he kill them?
He does like this, and then they all like fly off. There's no blood. There's nothing.
I think that's also what people complained about, was that they were like, this movie should have been R-rated.
Yeah, I remember.
It does feel
about that.
It does feel like this movie was meant to be R-rated, and I think it would have helped. It would have. I mean, I don't think it really would have. I mean, it would have added to the film. Would have made the film maybe a bit more entertaining. But at the end of the day, I don't think it would have really added much. But plus, also at the end of the day, guys, the problem is with R-rated movies. The thing is that R-rated movies are successful when they have low budgets. You know, like if you think of a movie like Dread, if you think of Deadpool, Joker, those movies had like $50-something million. Like they didn't have a big budget, and then that's how they were able to make so much money. And then with the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's film, and although I love the Suicide Squad, it's a great film, and I highly recommend it, guys. That movie apparently didn't do well at the box office, and I'm like, well, yeah, you guys gave it like $285 million for a rated R film. You're not going to make your money back. You know, that's kind of, it's not really smart investment. Because look, at the end of the day, yes, I love my R-rated movies, but at the end of the day, R-rated movies aren't going to make as much money back as a PG-13 movie is going to, because it's just not as much appeal. So that's the problem. Is at the end of the day, I understand it. And also the problem is then make it R-rated because they were kind of hoping that that Disney would consider including Venom in the MCU, In my head, canon, he is part of the MCU, but officially, officially, he's not.
Mm. Yeah, there's that weird, like, divide now.
Well, now they're basically just being like, we didn't make it, so it's not ours, so it's not a part of the MCU.
And that's the thing, that's what I'm concerned about with Spider-Man. Eventually they'll just be like, yeah, no, sorry, he's no longer in the Marvel.
Apparently No Way Home is going to be the last MCU Sony collab, and then after that they're doing their own.
Which film?
No Way Home.
Oh, No Way Home.
It's going to be the last collab, and then after that they're doing their own thing.
Oh, he's gonna die.
Well, no, I don't think he's going to die. I think he's just going to go off and do Sony movies then, and they just won't be allowed to mention Iron Man or any of those names or whatever.
Does Sony own the villain rights as well? I know they have Venom and the Spider type.
Basically, all the Spider-Man related characters they own,
including the Sinister Six that we see.
Yeah.
In No Way Home. Okay, not all members are confirmed, but there are a few.
Yeah, everybody, all the Spider-Verse characters belong to Sony.
Well, there's no better way to go out then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, no, pretty. And then we also get that really awesome fight. I actually really like the fight where the cops come and then he has to fight the police.
Oh, once
and they shoot the smoke canisters at him, and he just like takes them out slowly.
I love that catch, and he's just like. In his
hand. Yeah, that's awesome.
That is a very cool scene, but that's also when like Venom loses it a bit.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a bit of like Terminator 2. When they're at the Skynet building, and then the police come, and then like Arnold's coming down the hallway, and they're like shooting at him, and the bullets all just bouncing off, and then he pulls out his gun, and he starts shooting them in the leg to just decapitate them, and like they're shooting, and like he's got the grenade launcher, and he's like shooting the grenades at them, and like that's awesome.
Yeah, that's where Hank is from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He's that police chief or officer.
Yeah, pretty awesome. But yeah, no, pretty great. Great sequence, and then there's the whole bit about they keep cutting back to him going to see interrupting Anne and her boyfriend when they're on dates, and I hate those scenes. They're so freaking they're so cringeworthy. It's just like, I don't care, whatever. Like, just show me Venom and Eddie Brock bickering. I don't care about this fake romance they got going on yet.
Yeah, well, they were trying to.
I mean, like I said, again, it's cool that the boyfriend or whatever is actually a cool guy, and he's actually like, he doesn't hate Eddie Brock or have any animosity to him. He actually likes him. He thinks he's a cool guy and everything. I like that aspect, but I don't know, the whole boyfriend thing is just freaking terrible. And look, again, Michelle Williams is a great actress. They just wrote her character terribly.
I think
her character's just very one note. It's just very one note, two dimensional. That's the problem.
I think they were setting up the fact that it was like an exposition setup. That doc was there to constantly give
Eddie Brock
like newfound exposition.
About like,
oh, you have a parasite. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's hurt by this sound frequency. All right, cool. It's eating your organs. All right, cool. He just keeps coming back to give exposition.
Yeah, basically.
Even though he's a chill dude, I don't have a problem with him. But I think because you constantly going on about all their scenes, like I think that's the point of it. Yeah. Except for the one where he eats the lobster. I think that sequence is supposed to just show you that Eddie is obviously going through something.
And also it's kind of a comedy or something, but it's just like
maybe
cringy humor. That's what it is. It's terrible, but yeah, no, I do love Michelle Williams. She is a great actress. The funny part is that when Venom, because she's a very renowned actress, but I hadn't actually seen her in anything up until this point. I think Venom was the first performance I ever saw from her. But last year, she brought out a little movie called Promising Young Woman, which I absolutely loved. I love that movie. That movie is amazing, and her performance in it is so freaking phenomenal.
I've heard it's very good.
I definitely want to do an episode on that.
Okay.
At one point, I think you'll really enjoy it. But yeah, no, she's a very talented actress. She's great. It's just in this movie she didn't really give. I mean, I think that the moment I probably liked with her the most is the moment where she had the Venom symbiote. She was like She-Venom. Kind of like a little She-Venom reference, because at one point there was a part where Venom... I haven't read the comic book, and I don't know who the character is, so okay, I only know bits and pieces of it, but the Venom symbiote did go on to a female character at one point, and then she was called She-Venom, so that was kind of like a little, sort of like a reference.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that female Venoms exist.
Yeah.
Isn't one of the main symbiotes?
Scream, I think, Scream is a female.
I think so. Maybe it was like a
Yeah.
And I know it's not Scream itself, but maybe it was like a reference to Scream.
And also to She-Venom, yeah.
Yeah, and to She-Venom, of course. I don't know She-Venom.
Yeah, but
Take your word for it, though. That camera's gonna die.
oh damn. Okay, you want to stop and just
I suppose we can just give it some charge because we have time.
yeah, just give it like maybe like 20-minute charge, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, well, let's continue up until it dies.
All right.
Do you want to finish like the story? We're basically at the final fight now at the shuttle.
Yeah, basically, Venom and Riot fight. I do like the fight. The fight's at least cool, and yeah, then basically Riot blows up in the rocket. So then they sort of make you think that Venom's dead, but I'm like, Venom's not dead, man. Bullshit.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then yeah, we found out that Eddie Brock, he's got they offered him to bring back the Eddie Brock report, but he said no, and now he's kind of his own he's kind of like a private his own private like reporter, investigative journalist now. And obviously we get the post-credit scene where he goes to prison to go meet Cletus Cassidy, and Cletus has that cringy line of it's gonna be Carnage, and I'm just like, oh gosh.
Yeah, it's painfully obvious.
Yeah, I mean, Woody Harrelson as Carnage, that's perfect casting. Like he would be perfect Carnage, and I can't wait to see him as Carnage. But it's just that that deleted scene is just like. And also, I love Woody Harrelson as an actor. He's such a good actor, and he's very funny and sarcastic in his movies.
Yeah.
That's what I like. So I'm looking forward to seeing his humor and sarcasm. I think that's also one thing I'd like to see. What they could have missed out on. With Colt and Drake, when he gets Riot, they never really have, aside from that one exposition dump scene where the two of them are talking to each other, when he first gets Riot inside him, they don't have a scene where the two of them interact, or they sort of, you could sort of, or maybe a scene where he's talking to Brock and then you can hear Riot's voice in Drake's head or whatever. I was thinking about that. They never did that.
No, they should have.
So I want to actually get a scene where Cletus Cassidy, maybe a whole dedicated 10-minute scene where he gets Carnage, and he sort of starts to go through the same things Eddie went with Venom in this first film, and the two of them sort of bonding and building a relationship.
I had the same thought earlier, actually. I was like, they should have really done that with Riot, because he just appears and then suddenly it's a boss fight, and I'm like,
and then it cuts to him interrogating Eddie Brock, and especially in that interrogation scene when he's interrogating Eddie Brock and he's telling his evil plan, they should have had bits where he was sort of blinking or freaking out, and then you hear Riot's voice in his head like telling him what to do and what to say and everything. And yeah, that was really a missed opportunity.
Dude, they should have done that. They would have added so much depth.
Yeah, exactly.
To that film, but they I don't know. I like this movie if I don't think too hard.
I do really want to see him and Venom crossover though. That is one thing I want to see eventually. I do want to see these two crossover.
Yeah, I'd like to see how Eddie and Venom, and then of course Tom, how they interact with each other. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because they have that, they all seem very sarcastic and such. But I think they would team up more. Yeah,
they'd probably team up, and then also I imagine it'd be similar to the scene with Peter and Mysterio when they're in the bar drinking beers, and then Peter's got apple juice and they're having a conversation. I picture it being something like that.
True.
So not really much. Oh yeah, then we were just discussing now off camera that what they should have done with the whole Riot 6-month thing was that they should have just had it that Riot was part of the symbiotes that they initially captured and took obviously back to the lab in San Francisco, and then when Eddie Brock comes and obviously Venom breaks out, they just have Riot break out as well. The symbiote of Riot, just break out as well.
We were having a discussion because the camera battery needed to charge, and we were just theorizing that was a much better application.
Because him taking 6 months to get to San Francisco, it's just weird, man. I mean,
it's funny to laugh at.
It's funny to laugh at it. We made a lot of funny jokes about it, but I don't know, just as a screenplay, it's just I don't know, it doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't click.
But yeah, other than that, no, the movie's pretty fun. I mean, pretty good. And are there any takeaways you take away from it?
Yeah, fly economy.
Fly economy. In terms of my takeaways, not really. Yeah, just not really much. It's a fun movie. I enjoy it. I think they did Venom and Eddie Brock very well. But I mean, in terms of filmmaking or whatever, there's not really anything that I'll take away from it. To be honest with you,
I think if I would be brutally honest in terms of a takeaway, I would definitely just commend them for Venom's and Eddie's relationship.
Yeah. I think they're done. I think in terms of Eddie Brock and Venom's dynamic, they did that they did that flawlessly.
Very, very well. Yeah, that would be my only takeaway. Other than that, it's not bad, but you can see the obvious like plot holes and how it kind of falls apart if you think too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I appreciate that they set up Venom 2 at the least. They were that at least they were that confident in their idea. Anyway.
And a lot of people are saying like oh, they should have just done Carnage as the first one. My thing with superhero movies is that if they do the main arch nemesis in the first movie, who are you going to do after that?
They can't fall back. I had the same thought.
Yeah, because the thing is, if they do Carnage if they did Carnage in the first movie, who are you going to do after that?
Yeah, you can't do the most iconic or most loved in the beginning.
I think okay, some movies did get away with it, like Batman. The original Batman '89 film did the Joker straight away. Then I know Sam Raimi's Spider-Man film obviously started with Green Goblin, but like. Yeah, no, like you need to do a smaller villain. Well, not a small villain, but like a smaller villain, and then build up to the bigger villain.
Exactly. If you want longevity,
that's you got to build up to Carnage,
which they're kind of doing now. I don't know how many villains are Venom exclusive. I don't know at all, but Carnage I know is definitely held in high regard.
Well, he's kind of a Venom / Spider-Man villain as well.
Oh, is he also? Does he also fight Spider-Man?
Yeah, he fights He's also a Spider-Man villain. I have some interesting theories that I want to talk about with the second one, but let's just finish up this one and then we'll talk about the sequel briefly.
Sure. You also said something about the actress that plays Anne. You wanted to give some shout out.
I did that earlier with Michelle Williams. I just wanted to shout out her performance in Promising Young Woman.
Okay.
I absolutely love that movie, and I definitely want to do an episode on it. But yeah, just for what I said before, I just said that I never saw any of Michelle Williams' performances. She was new to me when I saw Venom. That was the first movie I ever saw her in. And then I didn't think much of it. Well, not because of her performance, just because they didn't write her character very well. They wrote her character very one note. But then when I watched Promising Young Woman last year, I was like really impressed. I was like, yo, okay, this actress, she can really do like a good performance.
She's versatile.
Yeah, she's a very versatile actress. So yeah, I just wanted to give that little shout out.
Okay. No, just
yeah. If any of you guys haven't seen Promising Young Woman, I highly recommend it. It's a very good movie.
I think we should do it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's held in high regard.
It's held in high regard, and I think you'll really enjoy it, especially for the cinematography and stuff. I think you'll like it a lot.
Cool. Yeah. Now I have to watch it. We'll add it to the list. My two shots that I highlighted the most is kind of. They're not too far apart, actually. The first one is when Eddie calls Dora and he's by the bridge.
Oh.
They have that like opening shot of that scene where it pans looking straight down at the water, and then it pans to like a top-down view of Eddie on the railing. Yeah. Actually, they stayed on that water for so long, and it's so far away, I actually thought it was the Venom symbiote. Like, I wonder if that was foreshadowing. Probably not, but it is very cool.
Yeah, that is a cool shot.
And then the next shot that I really liked was when Dr. Skirth is trying to get rid of that security guy, and she opens the lab for Eddie, and the door like slowly. I think that's a really cool. She's like behind him, the camera. Yeah, those are the two shots I liked.
Yeah. Not really much else to give him a. What score would you give it?
This is painful. I mean, I love what they did, so I'm just gonna say 6 because the plot holes you cannot ignore.
Yeah. Okay, I'll probably go with a 7. I'll be a bit more candid to it because I do enjoy this movie, but
okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of plot holes and just yeah.
No, I'm sticking with 6.
Yeah, they need to think about that script a bit more. But yeah, so we scored the first film, so now let's talk about the sequel. So the sequel is being directed by Andy Serkis, who played Smeagol in, The Lord of the Rings. He's recently just started directing, and I haven't seen it yet, but he did that, The Legend of Mowgli, not the Disney one. The Disney live action one was by Jon Favreau, but he recently did The Legend of Mowgli, like his own live action Mowgli movie for Netflix.
Yeah, I remember seeing it.
Which I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's pretty good.
I remember the poster. Sorry, let me clarify.
So I haven't seen Andy Serkis as a director, but I mean, as an actor, I really like Andy Serkis. I think he's a very talented actor. He's going to be Alfred in the new Batman movie, which I'm excited to see. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm interested to see what he does with the sequel, and I'm just hoping that it's a step up from the first one.
I hope so.
Because I don't know. The first one was just a bit. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's not a bad movie. It's very like
scattered.
It's scattered, and it's an okay comic book. It's a fun movie that you watch every now and then, but it's not one that you really remember that much.
No, not really. I wonder if they had a lot of decision influence between Sony and Marvel.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
I mean, yeah, the fact that they couldn't use the white spider symbol because Marvel's basically just like, no, we don't want to be associated with this.
So okay.
Yeah, but yeah, and then, but yeah, I'm interested to see it, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. And then also, I love the bit in the trailer. Well, obviously, we've just seen the first trailer. We haven't watched trailer 2 yet because when it comes to movies, I usually just watch the first trailer because that one gives the least amount of stuff away, and it makes you. It's usually the blandest possible trailer. Then after that, I don't watch because the later trailers. That's usually when they start spoiling more shots and everything. So I leave it. But I love that one shot where Cletus Cassidy, he's like writing on some piece of paper. There's a spider, and like he slams the spider. So I'm thinking like, is that maybe like a reference? Maybe Cletus Cassidy was like a because obviously he's a serial killer. So obviously maybe Spider-Man caught him, and that's how he got into jail because Spider-Man caught him. So that could be a cool Spider-Man reference. And yeah, then I'm interested, and I've also I saw that brief shot of Carnage, and Carnage looks very cool. It's gonna be interesting to see how they do his design because usually in the comic books, Venom is obviously he's big and bulky. He's like a big and bulky symbiote, but Carnage is generally a lot like okay. He's very tall. He's a tall symbiote, but he's usually very like skinny and slender compared to Venom.
Lanky.
Yeah, he's very lanky. He's very slender man like compared to Venom. So it's gonna be interesting to see the two of them fight. And then, like we said, I want to actually see Carnage and Cletus Cassidy have some moments where they interact, and you hear Carnage's voice in Cletus's head.
Yeah, what we were saying should have happened with
Riot and Drake.
And yeah, exactly. That I think that's a much better approach because you tend to learn about the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, if they come off as like face value villain, you don't really care that much. But if they take the time to explore the characters' relationship with each other, you get a lot more invested.
Yeah, so I just want to see Carnage again, but yeah, sorry, not again, Carnage, like because Carnage he's been a character that people have been waiting to see on the big screen for a lot of time. So yeah, so I'm excited. I'm just excited to see Venom and Carnage fight, but other than that, I'm not really that excited. But yeah, I'm just interested to see what Andy Serkis does with it. Yeah.
Yeah, is it like his debut?
No, it's not his debut. Legend. I think Legend of Mowgli was his debut.
Oh yeah.
This is obviously now a bigger gig that he's working on. So we're interested to see what he does with this film.
I look forward to it. I like the visual style so far from that first trailer. They seem to have the tone shifted like a little bit. It's a little bit darker. I know. Venom is like he's still happy and giddy like he always is. Or maybe not happy and giddy, but he's you know what I mean.
Well, they still gotta keep that because remember that's what from the first film that's what really worked was Venom and Eddie Brock's banter and like the comedy between the two of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it looks like their friendship might be tested as well because looking at the state of his apartment, it's humorous when you watch it. But from like Eddie's standpoint, he looks like he's worn out.
Yeah, he's just
so I think they will be tested. They're like working together, and I bet you they'll get their ass beat by Carnage in round 1.
Yeah.
Until they learn to cooperate and give and take again.
I kind of hope they don't do that breakup type thing again because they already did that in the first one. Remember, there's a part in the first film. There's that part where the doctor boyfriend guy says that the Venom, the symbiote's killing you and everything like that. And then Eddie Brock and Venom sort of have that like falling out, but then they get back together again. So I don't want to see that again. I'm like, you guys already did that in the first one. I don't want to see it again.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I get what you mean, but I hope you understood what I meant.
Yeah, I understood what you meant. I'm just saying that from my perspective, I wouldn't really want to see that, but yeah.
I think it's just they're gonna not only have a physical problem, but a mental problem. Like they're gonna be strained.
Yeah.
I think Carnage and even what's his name? The serial killer.
Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, his character name Cletus. He gives off this vibe like he knows how to get in your head.
Yeah.
Especially in that first trailer. I imagine you get a bit more in the second one. But like he has these mind games type personality, so I think he's gonna divide them.
Well, what would be really cool is if they maybe do like a okay, obviously this is Spider-Man and Green Goblin, this isn't Venom and Carnage, but it would be funny if they did like sort of a parallel, like Green Goblin kills Gwen Stacy for Peter Parker, so maybe Cletus he kills Michelle Williams' character Anne, and then that's what sets Venom off the frickin' edge, and then they just go to town on Carnage. Maybe that's what happened. Carnage beats him, and then when he kills Anne, that's when Venom is just like, oh hell no,
Maybe
and then
you have a point.
yeah, that could be a cool parallel or something, because I can imagine Cletus is he's gonna be doing something too, because obviously he's clearly obsessed with Eddie Brock, so he's clearly gonna be trying to mess with him
And get under his skin, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Killmonger from Black Panther or the Joker from The Dark Knight. He's gonna be that villain that like gets under the hero's skin and is constantly pushing the hero to make those choices. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. He seems like he's gonna be a much more like diverse character than
Riot, because Riot was just forgettable, just like whatever.
I even forgot his name after a while. I was like, yeah, the white gumball.
White gumball.
The snotball, there we go.
Snotball dude.
Yeah, no, and then of course the generic villain, Carlton Drake, which sounds like an off-brand cigarette brand.
Carlton Drake. Yeah, it sounds like a freaking, like a no-name brand beer.
Dude, yeah, some backyard whiskey, some moonshine.
Yeah.
Truly awful.
Yeah,
name.
yeah. And that's pretty interesting. And then also from what we've seen in the trailers, because obviously, again, we've only seen trailer 1, so we haven't seen trailer 2, because obviously we were trying to avoid spoilers. Because the problem is, again, like, often they spoil shit in trailers, but that one actress, that one woman who's clearly also been experimented on, I'm thinking that's probably going to be Scream.
Yeah,
that she's going to get that they're going to hint to her getting the Scream symbiote. Maybe she'll help Venom fight Carnage at the end or whatever. I hope they don't SJW it.
Oh, yeah, no keyboard warrior Venom, please.
Or if they do the thing where Venom just gets his ass beat and then Scream has to come at the end and beat Carnage, and I'm just like, oh god, I didn't know that. I thought I was watching a Venom movie, not a Scream movie. Who the hell cares about Scream? But anyway, but it would be cool because I feel like that should be cool. They should expand on the symbiotes and like the lore and everything like that.
Who the hell cares about Scream?
No, I don't mean that in a sense. I mean, Scream is a big character from the comics, and she also has her own following and everything. I'm just saying that, at the end of the day, I went to go watch a Venom. If they do that and they completely, write Venom to just be a complete incapable idiot, and I'm just like, well, then what the hell did I come watch this movie for? It's kind of what I didn't like about Ant-Man and the Wasp, is that they basically made Ant-Man an idiot. They made Scott Lang an idiot, and then they basically just made it the Wasp show, basically. I mean, I like Wasp, but Wasp is cool. It's just the problem is I want equal heroism and distribution, not just like...
Yeah, I just felt like he was along for the ride.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's punching bag, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen, you're right. Because Scream, they have like 2 different shots of her, I think, in that trailer. Or that symbiote, that female one.
Yeah.
So, I hope that it really doesn't... Maybe she's like a Catwoman type scenario where she's like, sometimes she's helpful, sometimes she's against you, like a spanner in the works. Maybe she doesn't necessarily have a team.
Yeah, exactly.
Curious to see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, those are my thoughts. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. This is Cinema Suitcase. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And then if you have any feedback, please leave us a comment or write us a review on if you're one of our podcast listeners. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.